We are here at the pool of Bethesda. And we've seen so many places until now in Jerusalem, and every time I bring you to the place, I ask you not to forget to ask me if the place is really authentic or not, because most of these places, that we have seen until now, they're either debated or maybe just a result of Christian piety and different legends, except this place. This place is so solidly and good verified by the archaeological evidence that we may be absolutely sure that that's the place where one of Jesus' healing miracles occurred. Remember, I asked you, how many miracles did Jesus perform in Nazareth? And you told me 0. How many miracles did he perform in the Galilee, in the area of Capernaum? So many that we don't even know. And when it comes to Jerusalem, the only healing miracles that we know about, they come from the record of the Gospel of John. That's it. Only the Gospel of John. And both in Siloam and Bethesda are somehow related to the pool of water. Why is that? Because that's what people believed. And what I like about Jesus, he doesn't argue or contradict popular beliefs of people. People believed that something can happen there, that the angel will stir water and they will be healed. And he comes to that place where people are expecting that something will happen, in my opinion. That's how I see at least things. And here we read in the Gospel of John, the second miracles that we know about is also recorded in the Gospel of John. After these, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Okay, I'm reading from the New King James Version. If you address the old version, just King James Version, it will tell you that after this there was a winter feast of dedication of the Jews. That's how it says in the King James Version. What does it mean? There was a special feast in winter. I don't know about any feasts in winter that derive from the Bible, that our major teacher Moses commanded us to celebrate. I know only about 3 feasts. And this is Passover, Pentecost, and the Feast of Tabernacles. There is nothing else. What is this Feast of Winter Dedication? I don't really know, but the scholars conjecture that maybe this is the earliest mention of our winter feast, Hanukkah. Maybe because there is no other winter feast for the Jews but Hanukkah. It's interesting. Can I just give you a little bit explanation about Hanukkah? Do you mind? Because Jesus went to Jerusalem during this feast. I will tell you. I had a group from Singapore, and this was a unique experience to be with them. And they asked me to give my personal testimony, not as I do it during the tour, but just to come separately and do that. Of course, it was very difficult for me. I waited till 8 o'clock. They had their dinner and I was waiting. I was very tired and I wanted to go home, but I said, these people want to hear my testimony. I will stay. I stayed. And I told them, and then they said, and now this is a time of Hanukkah. Can you please tell us also about the Feast of Hanukkah? And I told them, and when I told them, they were really surprised. Because if you go to the, origins of this Feast of Hanukkah, that's what you will read and hear from the people, that the Hanukkah was established in winter because, Jewish people lived in Europe. And everybody celebrated Christmas. And Jewish people didn't celebrate Christmas. And the Jewish children were very upset that everybody was getting presents. And the Jewish kids were not getting none, no presents for them. And that's why they decided, let's celebrate Hanukkah in winter, do something similar, without a tree. No tree, without Santa Claus, okay? But also with presents and everything else. You can say, what? I am telling you, that's the reason we celebrate it in winter. That's as far as we know from the rabbinical sources and different legendary sources. But when I read the Gospel of John, I see that Jesus was celebrating in the time when people did not celebrate Christmas yet. And it was a winter feast of dedication. And that's why probably people already celebrated this feast in winter in the times of Jesus. I don't know. It doesn't say here that it was Hanukkah, but it's interesting also to know. And Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and there in Jerusalem by the sheep gate there was a pool which is called in Hebrew Bethesda. Okay, Bethesda in Hebrew sounds as Beit Hesda, and you already know what Beit stands for, a house, and Hesda is an Aramaic word, not Hebrew word, because Aramaic words they end with a. Remember Magdala? Hebrew Migdal. Hesda, Hebrew Hesed, which means mercy. So let's translate now this word. It would mean the house of mercy. And for me it's very significant because someone was shown and given mercy there, and this man that was healed. And this pool had 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" What kind of question? You want to be made well? I mean, who doesn't? But I can tell you, I heard once from the doctors who told me that many people, you know, they don't have a desire, because this is very important to have a desire to be healed. Some people give up and they continue in that condition because they don't have a will to be healed, and that's maybe why. And Jesus is asking him, you need to have a desire, you need to have faith. And the sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I'm coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "No need to wait for the stirring of the water. Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. Give me a break. What's gonna happen now? Okay, Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to carry your bed, the Jews told him. He answered them, "He who made me well said to me, take your bed and walk." Then they asked him, "Who is this man who said to you, take up your bed and walk?" But the one who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, and multitude being in that place. Afterward Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, in the temple, that's where Jesus went, and said to him, "See, you have been made well. Sin no more, lest the worst thing come upon you." The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus who made him well. For this reason the Jews persecuted Jesus and sought to kill him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath. And I think, my friends, you understand now this problem and this issue of a Sabbath. Since you are now staying here in Jerusalem, you understand it better. When you come home and you read your Bible, you will never read it in the same way. You will understand that it is still an issue. You know what an issue is Sabbath for the religious people. They can do lots of bad things to the people that defile Sabbath, in their opinion, even today. I heard so many stories when the religious Jews overturned the cars that were driving in their neighborhoods during the Sabbath. They can be very, very, very angry, and they are zealous for God. And I recall that Jesus warned us. He said, the time is coming when people that will kill you, they will think that they do it for God's sake. And there is nothing worse when people do these things, do evil to others for God's sake. Not only the Jews, take Muslims, Muslim extremists that do it for God with a scream Allah Akbar, killing people, and many other examples. Even Christian extremism during the Crusader time, when the whole communities were destroyed also for God's sake. You know, Jewish communities were destroyed completely, and this is important to remember, that this zealousy can be also harmful. So the place we're going to see is very well verified. These are Bethesda pools that were excavated. These Bethesda pools existed right by the Temple Mount. We just came from the Temple Mount, so it gives you more or less a picture of how close the Bethesda pools were to the temple. Why? Because sheep pool, you know, the sacrifices needed to be washed and prepared, and then there was lots of blood, and that's why there was a very strong need for extra supplies of water for the temple needs. And this pool was one of those. We've seen yesterday another one, right? Strutian pool, when we were in Oklahoma. Who remembers? And this is one of them, very deep actually, and you don't find five porticos there, but we will see that other structures were built on the dam, and we will see you gave me that name yesterday, this Latin word when the two religions combined. You said syncretism. So we will see another example of the syncretism also, as the first years of the Christian era. The temple was destroyed, the Jewish people were expelled, and then there was a long period of the Roman rule, early Roman period, when they didn't accept Christianity yet. But somehow they accepted Jewish traditions, and the place that was venerated by the Jews as a place where they can be healed later on became a holy place for Romans, and they called it after their own god of healing, whose name was Esculapius. Remember Esculapius? His other name is Therapis. Okay, this god had daughters, 5 daughters. Every daughter was responsible for different things. As far as I remember, 2 names: Panacea, the world's remedy, and another's name Hygiene. Okay, so this god Esculapius was responsible for healing. So it's probably that what they got from the Jews that believed that they can be healed there. Later on, they established their own pagan place of worship there during the Roman period. And of course, in the Byzantine period, there was a Byzantine church there, because Christianity was an official religion, and for them it was important to build a church that later was destroyed. But the story does not end there. There were other churches, and one of them we're going to visit on the site, Saint Anne's Church, and I will explain why it's called after Saint Anne. So follow me, please, and we will take a look at the site. And the kingdom is here competing with me.
Oh my God.
Oh.